is not about us judging tattooers. Yeah, you have to spell that, dude.
man.
Nobody knows what the fuck Yallzee is. You made up a word.
Yeah. If we don't underestimate, like, just wait.
9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
I'm Chris Collins.
I'm JP Draft.
I'm Yallzee.
And this is the other side of the tattoo. All right, so what is that thing that you have there? Is this the new Cabbage Patch doll? This is going to be the new
It's me.
the toy of the 2017 Christmas? Tickle me, Yallzee. Is that what we're dealing with here? Who made that?
Tickle me and I fart.
Who made that?
Miss Reyes is from California, and it was a gift from Timo from North Carolina. He gave me he sent it to me as a gift. So
It's mini me.
Yes,
That's awesome.
That's really funny. That has to be like your favorite gift ever.
I'm milking him.
You know, there's a big push for that to be acceptable in the public forum now, to be able to breastfeed in public. So I don't think you won't get as much pushback. Okay, for everybody that might not have already, might not know you yet or what you do, tell us a little bit about you and why you think that I invited you here.
I don't know. Why you invited me though? That you got to answer. I'm Yallzee. I've been a tattoo collector for about 21, 22 years. I've been like getting tattooed all over the world for about that same amount of time. Actually traveling the world, doing judging many conventions at the moment.
Yeah, they actually have you come out as the personality for the show. I've seen a lot of the tattoo expos actually use your image in the advertising, billboards, flyers, and as the cover of the icon for the show itself. So they'll do that. Some of them with your permission, and some of them without. And
yeah, and there are conventions that I've seen like they've used the image and I'm not even in the show. So.
Yeah, you're not there. They don't care.
It was more overseas in Brazil.
Oh yeah, yeah. Shout out to all of our fans in Brazil that I know don't give a damn about that. I had an artist who was down in Brazil one time at the Rio de Janeiro show, I believe, and distributor for the clothing brand for Steadfast came up to the artist and said, "Hey, I just want to let you know I'm a big fan." They had the merch there, and they actually had merchandise that artist did with us. And he calls me up. He's like, "Hey man, I didn't know you have a distributor in Brazil." I was like, "I don't have a fucking distributor in Brazil." So these guys are down there like straight ripping off the brand, selling it, and then walking up to the artist that did the design that they ripped off and going like, "It's great to meet you. We're really honored that you let us steal that we were able to steal your shit."
Yeah, I was sent by a friend. I don't want to name the tattooer because I don't know if the organizer is gonna be like, "Hey, wait," but it wasn't like in a bad. It was like they had like banners and flyers and all with my image, and then like there were a few artist friends looking up for me. And they're like, "Hey, you're not here." Like,
like I didn't know anything about it.
Why should I? Or like look at the flyer. Like I had nothing to do with that.
So like you're saying, you'll go there and actually do the judging and run the contest for them and stuff like that. Why do you think that just as a collector that they look for you to be that person that comes in and does that?
I would say like something that have had a lot of that, like of people being interested in taking me to the shows. It's like I've met many artists, organizers along the way, and every time I've been judging, I just like I have taken the time over the years, not just to be a collector, but also before I was a kid. When I was a kid, I did draw. I had like I study art, like not major art, but I did like have like that drive for that. So I took the time to study all styles because I like all styles. Composition.
So you feel like they think you're well rounded and that you.
I think that I have showed them even when I'm judging that I'm fair. that
Right.
I don't give awards to my friends as I've seen other
Right.
people, for example.
No, that doesn't happen.
Uh, or just choose a style because they don't like the other style, or they tattoo one style.
Right.
They don't understand the technicalities of all styles. Like
Exactly.
I have seen amazing artists, for example, try to do Asian Oriental piece, and they can do a very beautiful koi, but they don't have the idea of how the background and the structure or the colors of the different motives, how they should be and how they should go.
Right.
So also like about if it's realism, about light use of light source,
Right.
values,
Right. But to have
contrast.
somebody, but to bring somebody across country or across the world for just that, I mean, that's not,
The
a
thing
lot. That's
the
not
thing
good.
is the thing is like, I'll be honest, like most of the artists, I gotta be straight up, most of the artists right now, Manny, on those shows, there are tattooers that actually started when I was already 10 years already going to shows. So many of them have told me that they look up to me, or they trust my judgment, or they respect
Right.
because with Doug, I've also been tattooed by many people. I ask questions. I took the time to learn about the the technical parts because I really like it.
Right.
I enjoy it. So I got books. Like, sadly, and it's something I say, like, for me it's frustrating that I have more books than most artists I know. I think that's their work. That's like, it's like if you're a doctor or you're an MD, you got to take the new updated medicine books to
Right.
keep your career like updated, and
Right.
stay relevant somehow and learn. I think we all learn constantly every day. Like, once you think you know it all, I think that's when you go down.
Right. So, what are the next events you have coming up that people can run into you at?
Oh man, I
Just the
confirm.
next. Just don't hurt yourself. Just the next couple.
Ah man, I don't know the order. I know I'll be confirm in Taiwan, North Carolina, like a few times in New York for the United Ink shows.
Got you in Charlotte, right?
I'll be in Ecuador. Yeah, I'll be in All American show. I also on the new United Ink they doing. I'll be in Ecuador. I'll
Yeah.
be that one. Uh,
Finally doing some in Central and South America.
yeah, it's crazy because I lived 43 years in Puerto Rico, and like I usually do Asian, Australia, European shows,
Right.
U.S. shows, and I've been in South America, but not like actually like for the shows. Actually, I've been
Right.
just hanging out.
And there's a ton. There's a ton of shows down there, and there's a lot of talent. Like, one of the things I liked about going down into like Costa Rica, Panama, and all the way down into Bolivia is you get artists down there that like they're never gonna leave. Like, they're never gonna be on the world circuit, whether the countries don't allow it or they just don't have the means.
Yeah.
And these artists just sit there and do work. Like, they just tattoo and their neighborhoods and their people and everybody, da 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 da. And they study a lot of styles. And the thing that I find down there is you get a lot more of the type of artist that does all style, because they're just following art. So they just like tend to try everything, and they do well. There's some artists down there that you get into their portfolios and they're cats you've never heard of, and you are just blown away that these
Yeah.
kids in their 20s are killing it because they're hungry, right? They don't have as many distractions. They're like focused on that, and it's amazing. Like Alex Nunez, I mean, he's one that does come to the States, so his transfers a little bit, but he's down in Costa Rica, and he's a prime example. Like, that cat can do any style, like whatever. Super clean, traditional, realism, black and gray, killer lettering. Like, he can move around in there because he's a student of art. His parents were both artists, and like how you were saying, the reference material. He's not like, he never pigeonholed himself. He's just like, whatever kind of art that comes across his table, he's going to attempt it and try and excel in it.
I got a question for both of you guys. The old school artists to the new school artists, the different realms of their minds, how do they work differently? Like, that you've seen?
I mean, that's subjective. Like, that could go on like a person by person basis, and it'd probably be better to let an artist do that. Cause like, I could give my view of it, of my experience with people that I've encountered, and Yallzee could probably do the same.
How about when you're getting your tattoo?
But what's the question exactly? Like,
The question is, let's say you're getting tattooed by an artist that's been doing it for a longer period of time versus the newer artists? They obviously they're both great artists. You could get
Yeah.
two great artists, but what's the mind state of both artists?
I personally, uh, that's something I say. Like I always say, like my first 10 years collecting are different than the other 10 years. Like that's when I was learning, and then like lately I love getting tattooed and talking to artists that it's not it's not that they being like old school artists or newer tattooers, but I like artists that are passionate about what they do,
Right.
that study
Regardless.
study what they do, that respect and acknowledge our history, like
Right.
because I think like if you don't know where everything comes, you don't understand the culture. There's I don't know I don't know where you're going. You're gonna I think like even if not your style, try to understand those styles. Try to learn and especially acknowledge others. Like don't try to be the one with the new sensation, because there's always going to be a new sensation. But respect is the cornerstone of power. You know, respect is something different than being the sensation of the moment. That's how I see it. And many artists like from that started before all the social media. I remember, for example, right now there can be many collectors. You know how hard it was for me before being in Puerto Rico to actually get an appointment with an artist that it wasn't Facebook, it was no uh, Instagram. Uh, MySpace started later, but then again, I had to go to a show that I knew the artist was going and introduce myself. Not only go to the show, not to get tattooed, just to be taken serious. That's how I think also I met so many people, because it was going to the show. It wasn't like hey, I'm a collector on Instagram and just give me an appointment. Uh, I have I don't know how many followers. Oh, ooh. You know, like that shit like helps your ego. Comments, likes, followers helps your ego, but it's not really doing anything for you as an artist, also or as a collector.
Well,
Like I
I think that I mean that kind of opens up the answer to that, which is one of the big differences between I owned a shop between 2001 and 2010, 2011, and that shop still exists. I sold it to my manager, and the difference I would say, because that was when like MySpace was kicking in and all of that stuff was starting to build up, and they weren't consumed with it. So I would say one of the biggest differences between older artists and newer artists is the way they approach their clientele.
yeah
Because in a neighborhood, if you lived in a neighborhood or a town, you had to have a grounded base to tattoo, to work. Your shop had to focus, like my shop, we had to focus on our community. We did advertise outside of the community a bit, like a few counties in the state, but there's no reason to market, in other states. So what we had to do was bring in artists from around the country to guest spot. So we brought in guys as often as we could and let them have a space in the shop. We had a room dedicated for that. And that was in the early 2000s to give exposure to the artists in our shop so that they could see that. Because there was no Instagram to just be like, oh my God, look what's being done. So these artists would come in and work with the artist hands-on, and they would all tattoo each other. We would all hang out and everybody get work done. And they would leave, and that would benefit the shop. So I would say that's one of the bigger changes is the difference between community tattooing, neighborhood tattooing, and worldwide tattooing. Because you will have people now that'll travel in. It's nothing for
but
people to
but
fly in the States.
but again, it's true, and that's that I think that's what he asked. Like some of that mindset is like or mind state is like the artists before they were not looking to be famous, or they were not looking to be, oh, look at how many followers I got, because
Right.
that didn't exist. So they were
Sure.
focused on actually building up a reputation and building up a strong portfolio, uh, a really good clientele. Of
Right.
course, you treat your people right. It's not like you just like do same with people doing tattoos. Like some people, which I don't agree with that, because it's not. I don't think it's good for the necessarily for the client. Like sometimes, or the collector. Being a collector myself, I gotta say that I don't like when I'm at shows and I'm judging and I can see an artist, and I'll say it with how, with all honesty. Like sometimes I'm judging and I can see that when the artist actually was hurried to finish on time to enter the tattoo of the
Right.
day,
Just to enter the
like,
show.
and
Yep.
you see a very strong piece, and then the the other part, like how they start from the from down to up, then they
Yep.
go up, like you can see like all just like
They just
trying to
finished
do it,
it up.
trying to
Right.
finish it on time, and it's not fair because for the artist, because most people won't remember who won last weekend on this show or that.
Right.
Like you put it up, you fulfill your ego, but that collector is gonna have that for life. Try to give him
Right.
a good piece, or try to do a smaller tattoo, or try to finish it up later.
Yeah, do it the
Or if
next
you want
day.
it, yeah, but don't do that.
Or have it entered later on as a healed piece, like just go there.
yeah.
But that's and I want to make sure that anybody listening understands this is not about us judging tattooers. Like, I don't tattoo, I owned a shop, I had a expo myself for a couple of years with Danny Knight, the Tried and True Expo. We've all participated in a bunch of them. This is for perspective on the other side. So if anybody's listening, you can kind of hear from outside the loop, the other side of the tattoo, as to what it's like to be a client, what it's like to be an observer, what it's like to watch this happen. I talked with a buddy of mine, and I told him, is a well-known artist, and I told him one of the things that bothered me was when a client gets tattooed, and then the artist will sometimes walk that customer around to other artists and just show the work, right? So it's not like they're not saying, hey, this is Chris, check out what I just did on Chris, you know what I mean, that he got for whatever reason. They'll just be like, hey, look what I just did. And the person's kind of like, just like a dog, just kind of getting walked around and shown off as a piece. In fairness, there are collectors out there who just do that for that, and I know that, and they just want to be dragged around. But for the most part, you just change somebody's life. You just change the way they now look until they die. So introduce them. Talk about the person first. And that artist, later in that same show, that same day, walked a customer over to me and said, hey, Chris, I'd like you to meet John. John, this is Chris. Check out the piece that John just got from me. You know what I mean? He personalized it. Because, with the shop, I always make sure that we always took the customer first. It was always them. Because you have to remember that without them, every other thing about what you do doesn't exist. So always treat that customer, even if they're getting the most basic thing, the simplest thing. The longer you're in this as an artist, this would be my advice, no matter how long you're in it and how you feel about your work and how people should acknowledge it, how that customer spends their first moment in a shop, whether it's the counter person, whether it's the apprentice, whether it's a tattooer, whether it's a piercer, anything, how they interact with you that first time is going to be what they walk away from tattooing. And they're either going to be like, this was a bullshit experience and these guys were assholes, I'm never getting anything else again, or they're going to be like, this was amazing. So out of all the artists that worked for me over 10 years or worked at the shop, the best one wasn't the best artist technically, he was the best artist personally. So no matter what anybody came in there to get, he was like, that idea sounds amazing, and I could make it even cooler if we did this, 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 and this. And that dude would be more booked out than more technically sound artists, because the experience that he gave that client and what they walk away from and look at their tattoo for the rest of their life was positive. And they would get a tattoo that wasn't as good as some others. I think we can all say this. I have tattoos on me that are not some of my best technical tattoos that were done by amazing people. We had a great time. It meant something. And those are better tattoos to me than one that might be more technically sound done by an asshole.
Yeah.
So,
mine too. I that's why I like so many lately. I freaking love like so much of sitting down with those artists that are really passionate about what they do. So many of them have paved the way, but it's like, for me, it's more than an honor, like just to sit there and being acknowledged by them too, like, wow, like this person that I've been looking up, like since I started, like, for example, I got a good relation with Philip Liu. And when I remember the first time I met him up, like to get tattooed by him, he was like, he got no Instagram, no social media, no nothing. You just gotta freaking email or go there and whatever. So when I went there, sometimes you think like, oh, man, maybe he's gonna be like booked for 6 years, or he's not taking more clients, or he don't want to do this or that. Like, I have few options. I had open spots. I had reworks I wanted to do. So he was like, what you want to do? Whatever, I'm game. That was the words. Like, I'm game. Like, whatever you want to do. What you want to do. Like,
Right.
after we got finished, I have a small spot here. This small dragon is a filler.
Yeah.
Can you do something? Yeah. It's not like, no, I don't do that.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
no.
Yeah, he's gonna tattoo you.
You know,
Right.
yeah. It
Right.
was like, he's about tattooing. He was like, what you want to do? Let's do it. Let's bang it. He enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's a really cool feeling, you know.
Absolutely.
Like yeah. And as you said, man, like I'm talking about perspective as a collector, you know, like, because of course tattoos are not done on canvas or on walls, you know. We're talking about tattoos. Tattoos are on people.
And so I wanted to jump over to something really quick, just because you just left there, and I think it's very relevant. Puerto Rico. You just moved away. You moved to Florida over the current circumstances. So just real quick, this is December 12th that we're having this conversation, 2017. How are things months after, where supposedly everything was done 100% and everything's great in Puerto Rico, according to the government? So how is it really down there?
It's really crazy situation, because like the power thing. So, the power, many businesses are not open or cannot open. A lot of people, it's not working though.
Sure.
And also like, I can say the destruction is massive, because like on the metro area where I live, and also like well-built houses didn't have that problem, because the structure
Sure.
is pretty strong. But then like, there's many people that live in the mountain, and their houses were not like, I don't know how, like,
It's rougher.
why they let them build there too. And it's crazy, because you can see a freaking mountain like when you drive, and in the corner, like, you see a house, like, holy fuck, I don't even want to, not with a hurricane, I don't want to live there, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you just see it, you see like
Anytime.
like, yeah. So it's crazy because of the power. Communication was really hard, and we had the convention. We had to postpone it for next year.
Right.
So I'm now living in Florida, but of course I'll be going to Puerto Rico often to work on the show. Also see my family and kids.
Okay. So as of right now, the show for December 2018 is still on? Puerto Rico Expo?
For 18. Remember, it was supposed to be like December 1st.
Yep.
So
that
now
was
it's
a
gonna
great
be
show. It was an amazing time. I mean, you guys did a great job putting it on, but the people of Puerto Rico were incredible. So anybody listening to this, try and book it. There's nothing else going on in December. It's a ridiculous lineup. And honestly, it'll be one of those things where the community will need money. So if you can go down there and buy beer and fucking get a hotel room and do that stuff, like, do it. Go to the restaurants, go participate.
I was told it was one of the best shows ever from a lot of different people.
It was a really great show. It was amazing. The lineup was silly. It was, a custom picked lineup. So it was awesome. But not only that, the production value was really strong. The guys that Yallzee worked with down there, they're like professional production company, like audio, visual, etc. And so like, what's that?
They're called Sparkoff.
Sparkoff?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, they were legit. It had this like crazy circular videos in the middle playing all the information and all the sponsors. Like, it was great. It was just a well put together event. And
it's like what you wanted. We were talking about the shows.
Yeah.
We want to talk about shows.
Right.
Well, this like I said, like I've been going to shows like for 20 years, but then like not only many overseas, so many different parts of the world.
Right.
So I can see what I like, what I don't. Yep. I wanted to do a show based on tattooing, like the passion side. We're very focused on the art part, meaning like tattooing.
Right.
Like I personally, I'm not saying it's wrong or not. Anyone can do what they want. I didn't want to like the bikini girls on the stage and shit. They can go on stage naked if they want to enter overall or enter a tattoo contest piece. You know, like, and I didn't want to like, for example, I had like a lot of, which for me is a big stuff. Like many people from the friends because they were friends before that for years. Been on E Masters, for example. I'm not a follower of the show. I dislike it, but then again, like I support my friends. But anyway, for my show, I had like many of them going, and I promoted it as I promoted any other artist. Like this artist is gonna be at the show. This artist is gonna be at the show. All styles. I didn't want to like, which I think that's what the show was good.
Right.
We fucking promoted it like very, very good. We had like 21 billboards. We had bus shelters. We had like magazine ads. We hit hard on the Instagram, but not only on social media. We hit hard like on the road.
Right.
We had
Right.
flyers. We had many. The team worked very hard on that. What I mean is like some other people, the way I see it, they can't. Many people put a show. They don't wanna really put effort on it. They just want to get like maybe, for example, someone who appeared on TV and promoted it as that.
Yeah. They
So get
rely on other people to promote.
because but it's sad in a way for me because they are getting a lot of people that see the show that are not only not educated on tattoo, but they really don't want to get tattooed. They might want to go to the convention.
They want to take a picture with the person.
They're gonna take a picture with the person,
Right.
but it's not doing anything for the tattooers like to get on through the door. And most of those artists are really talented, and if you promote them by their skills, their tattoos, people will go, I want to get tattooed by that dude. So they go and get tattooed by the dude. And what I wanted is to try to keep everyone busy, everyone like to go know that it's a serious show and get tattooed and enjoy the show. It was good. We had a lot of.
It was good, but on the flip side to that, because I, as somebody that's also put on a show and had the shop and have the different perspectives, I also understand why you do that. So any promoter that chooses to capitalize on the the television stardom of people, it makes sense for them too, because some of those artists show has, and I know you're not, but the shows have elevated a lot of their clientele base. So it is a plus, but I agree with the way you did yours. That's how we did ours. Tried and True was an invite only show. We had no theatrics. It was like all about the facility we put it in. We did it in an area that there was stuff for people to go do afterwards. We did on iDrive in Orlando, so there was plenty for people to go do. The Monday after, we all went to Universal Studios, like 20 of us. We all like you had fun with it. You had fun in the town, just like people stayed in Puerto Rico and went and hung out. And they went to the rainforest and they went to the, they did things that made going to the location worth it, which is the best thing for me. Like, I'll tell you one thing, man, like Bolivia, Gunnar Gatsby that puts on the Bolivia show, the La Paz show, that dude had a tour bus every morning, including show days. They would pull up to our hotel and take us to sites in Bolivia, whether it was the cable that went across the whole city from the mountain to mountain, whether it was to they have a dead, I don't know the name of it. I sound like an asshole. It's not the Day of the Dead festival, but it's their celebration of the dead. These people certain of the population keep their ancestors' skulls in their house, like adorned, like on the mantle. And this one day of the year, they bring all the skulls to this cemetery, thousands of them. And everybody has a party. And they put these wreaths of flowers on the skulls, and they got glasses on, and they give them cigarettes and coca leaves and alcohol. And it's like a party for all your dead ancestors, and everybody was there, and there was thousands of people. And the dude set it up on the day, his show, on the day they do that, which was amazing. It was that Saturday. So the promoters taking time to not just get people through the door and get the artists in the hotel rooms, but to actually participate in the city or the country that they're in and enrich your experience. I've never culturally had a better experience than in Bolivia, period. I mean, I had a lot of fun in Panama and Costa Rica, because it's just fun as shit. But, and we did go out and we went and saw the nature. We went, to the beaches, went to Jaco, we did all this stuff. But that guy really bringing the experience of Bolivia, and you could feel his love for Bolivia was paramount. Like, that was the moment, right? And that was one of the things about where you picked it, because I actually went down and visited you. I was just vacationing in Puerto Rico, and you showed me that site like 2 years before it happened. And you were like, hey man, I'm thinking about here because it's, it's beautiful facility right on the water. You can see
again. That's what I'm saying. Like I I could cut up so many things.
Oh yeah, you could have saved a ton of money sticking it in
for
some
me,
hotel.
exactly. For
Right.
me, it was not about the money. I did like, I want to do the show here. It's
Right.
fucking expensive. Yeah, but I wanted the show here.
Oh, it made a mark.
Like-
It made a mark. And for all the people that never been to Puerto Rico, just like people think Panama is like all third world, and then you get down into downtown Panama and people are driving fucking Bentleys. And that's real. There are Bentleys in Panama. Same thing with Puerto Rico. If you've never been, you have a preconceived notion, whether it's beaches, whether it's this, whether it's that. And then you get down there to that convention center, and I mean, it was state of the art, bad as shit. But like visual distance, walking distance to Old San Juan, where you could go experience the culture of it and the foods. And, you recommended things to people and you let everybody know like, hey, if you're wanting to stay, here's some points to go see. And some of the shows like around the world do that. They do a great job of that. Yeah. I'm not knocking them, but those are the
like I said about the promotion of the shows. That's not like, I'm not saying it's wrong because I do most of those shows and I have a lot of fun and I love it. I love going.
But you decided what you wanted for
I decided what I wanted for my show. I enjoy going and seeing the girls too,
Right.
I'm not saying, I just decided what I wanted. Like,
yeah, and you got to. And every show should be unique.
Based on me. Same we all hang out. Like, I don't go like, hey, why you dress up like that? Or you go, hey, Yallzee, why you have a hoodie? Like, fuck, because I wanted to put it on. Like, like we can have all like our own vision of the things we want to do and just like, of course, it's not wrong or right. I'm just saying how I wanted to do it.
Yeah, yours came across, nobody questioned it. It came across solid, man. People walked out of there with a great time. People were bummed that it got canceled for the hurricanes. We understood that. A lot of people people just said, keep the money. They just wanted to help support Puerto Rico and your efforts. And I think that when it comes back around, it'll be awesome because that was
the good thing is like we now have a whole year
to over promote it, right?
Over promote it because already the show is, let's say, it's already booked.
What's the website, the Instagram, Facebook?
Oh man, Instagram is PR/_tattoo_convention, International Tattoo Convention on Facebook, and the website is like I think it's Puerto Rico Tattoo Show or internet. If you look by International Puerto Rico Tattoo Convention, should go. And the show is pretty much like all the sponsors are still there. The artists, like 90% are still there. Some other people that had already some plans, they was like, I don't know if I can make it next year or they couldn't. But usually it's all sold out. So we just got to focus on.
And what's yours so that people can check out your social media and follow you and your travels and stuff like that?
Yallzee, YALLC at zebra and double E.
Yeah, you have to spell that, dude. Nobody knows what the fuck Yallzee is. You made up a word.
Yeah.
Tell everybody where that came from, because I thought your name was Yallzee and it's not. It's like Gordon. So I didn't know that. And how did the name Yallzee come around?
Yallzee is my b-boy name and graffiti name and all that shit. But back in the days, I was a b-boy, like JP.
Right, yeah. I have it on my arm. There you go.
So what did Yallzee mean? Because you told me. So
Yallzee meant like I remember like back in Puerto Rico, and I was like going all the time to New York, and me like I was very skinny, very pale, and I was a good dancer, man. So like people were like, this battle this guy, and then when they see me like that dude, so the other people were like, Yallzee, motherfucker, Yallzee, man. Like, don't underestimate. Like, just wait.
And what the fact of the matter is, at the time, you probably spoke zero English.
Yallzee,
you heard them say that, you were like,
Yallzee basically means the underdog.
Yeah. Awesome.
You'll see what it is. And
like Yallzee.
Yeah, exactly.
So who did you used to rock with back in the day when you were dancing? Like, did you rock with any crews?
Dude, yes, many in Puerto Rico. I'm actually now. I think I'm still part of the V&A crew because I don't dance anymore. But I worked with the Hype Squad with another crew that we had that had no name. Was like so we started practice, then we joined all the crews and stuff. So man. A little bit of everything. I'm a member of Vanguardia Subterránea. It's a Spanish group.
Hmm.
Because I also make beats and do music, but I've worked with punk, hardcore bands, reggae bands, jazz bands. So I like fusion, fusion with everything. So
And you,
So what?
JP?
Yeah. What's
remember,
that?
Chris doesn't like talking about music though.
No,
I know he
no,
doesn't
I'm
like.
not. No,
Exactly.
no.
I'm waiting to see if he had something
I
to
like
say.
listening to music. I let y'all do that part. I just want the
So
final product.
I got you. I got you. When you're using your MPC, what kind of music are you doing now? Like with
Man,
the
I do. I love all music. Right now, if you go to my iPod, I got death metal, melodic death, punk, a lot of R&B, soul, hip hop, of course, jazz. I like classical music. I like
Country.
country. I like country, dude.
Yep.
I got country music.
Yeah.
I'll send you some shit.
Yeah.
I like whole music, man.
Golden
Music.
country though, not pop country.
What I say, like, good music is good music, man.
Yep.
Like
I agree.
music,
100%.
like
There's something
it
good in every genre, just about.
yeah,
Have you done
man.
any
Like,
production for anybody lately or no?
I've been doing some stuff, especially for with uh with a girl called Claire. She's an amazing singer. She's a wife of a very known singer from the group Cultura Profética, and she's awesome. And they wanted to, because I've worked with them, so she wanted to do some with me, and I'm really really honored, because I never, if you go to my social media and stuff, I don't promote myself as hey, get me to work with you, do music, because I like me in music. I like to keep it underground. Like if you really know and like my shit, just hit me up. Like
Hmm.
from a friend, maybe a friend tell you, or you really know. But I don't like people. If I posted it with all the followers we have on social media and stuff, there, a lot of people be like, "Hey, let's do something," and maybe I don't like what they do, or
Right. You gotta
or
actually just yeah. You gotta. So
I prefer to keep it like more closer, like someone like really really respects what I do, and if they know me, they know how I do things. I'm very like low key on the music. I don't like to
you want to give
to
any advice to some people out there or that are doing
uh,
production?
well, depends on what kind of production they want to do. Like, because I that's what I say, man. Like I don't think I have I do things how I know how to do them. Like, and especially when I learn, I do, like I said, I work with jazz musicians, like all that. But that was even harder, but was a challenge that I wanted to do. Like I challenged myself because I don't know the way we hip hop producers or beat makers, because producers on other music is different than hip hop music. Producers in hip hop music, they do everything: the arrangements, the sounds, everything. In other music, the producers sometimes they don't even know. They just put money. So
Hmm.
we learn like in a hard way. We don't have a musical study, so we learn like how it was done before, like just like from mistakes. So sometimes to work with other people when I don't know the the words they use, the technicalities on the music, so I understand it on my head, but I don't know how to how to.
So your production more of like a loner situation, right? Like you get it done, you make it right, and work with people.
Yeah, and I work with
Awesome.
others too, but sometimes it's I like it. That's my challenge.
That's awesome.
But again, like I don't think I got my own ways to do things. That's how I say. Like it's like telling someone, like teaching someone how to walk like me. Like, oh man, you walk like you. I can tell you
What,
some
get
hints
drunk
on
and
how.
walk backwards in the
I,
dark?
yeah, I can tell you like how to use a machine, how to do some stuff, how to program drums. But there are many things that I learned the hard way, and I just do it differently than many other people.
Everybody that has their own technique. I found that out a long
Yeah,
time ago. My dad used to play with Tito Puentes. He's a
yeah.
guitar player, and he was telling me analog production. It's completely different than doing it nowadays with all these technical things.
Exactly. I am more of an analog production kind of person. I like the sound is
Warm.
more fat, like grimy, like kind of like dirty. I like that sound, man. Like I don't like those flat uh two clean sounds. I
So
like.
you can put any of those in the next convention you have, or?
I don't put that shit.
No. No, you did a good job with the music at that. It was very mass consumable. It was the stuff that people like to listen to. It's the stuff that could be in the background and you
Yeah.
know the words. So it could have been
Yeah.
classic rock. It could have been older.
Yeah, I didn't
anything.
want to. I didn't want
Yeah.
to bother people with the music. I'm very
Yeah.
loud and shit like that, man.
And I will say that, we'll jump back over to the shows real quick because fuck it. We'll talk about the pros and cons of them. And for the next one, we'll bitch and rant about something else. One of the terrible things that some promoters don't seem to understand about shows, music being too loud sucks. Nobody likes it. And generally, your taste in music sucks. Like having your particular genre blast over everybody sucks. And I've heard the DJs either be in a sad mood, they just got a breakup or something, so they're playing all this sad ass shit, or it's the death metal people. And that shit is okay in your shop, I guess, if you like your clients to like do that. But that's a stressful.
And the crazy
tempo.
shit is like when you do that and you turn it so fucking loud, then the artists that don't like heavy metal and want to listen to hip hop, they blast it on the other side, and then the other one, the one in the front is blasting his shit.
Yep, it's
it's crazy.
And it's the customers. The customers are in a high stress, high pain situation, and if they don't like that shit, it is stressful as hell. I've gotten tattooed before in somebody's shop and asked respectfully. I was like, honestly, man, this is like freaking me out. I feel like I drank 10 cups of coffee. I'm trying to focus on not being in pain, and this isn't for me. Some customers are about it. And I think at a show, you want to have something even keel. Don't have a band in the middle of the fucking room blasting out, usually terribly, music that people are subject to. Absolutely. And don't be one genre based, man. Pick something middle ground that everybody can get down with.
So I gotta say though, Ink Mania in Florida, I don't know if you guys, this is a perspective. They had so much different music that blended in very well together, with their DJ.
Chino show?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, that works
very well.
Having a diverse thing works. Some Latin American countries that I've been to, like I went to one show that was in a fucking club and they played it like it was a club, and the DJ kept competing and turning the music up. And that's the bad thing about letting DJs run the music, is they constantly turn the music up through the night, and they do that to you in the show. And it gets to the point where if I'm standing at my booth and 3 feet in front of me, I can't talk to a customer. There's no benefit to that. I don't want to go to your show anymore if I'm stressed out trying to talk to the client and everybody's just aggravated because you think it sounds good. It doesn't. So like, I think that one right off the top, go with a moderate sound. If the artist wants to play crazy shit, get your headset, blast your shit into your own head, but don't make everybody else subject to that.
I agree.
It's just too much. It's too much.
Definitely agree with that. I've seen it a lot of times, and I've actually gotten tattooed where the actual artist gets so frustrated that they have to take a break for a good.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want. The last thing you want is the artist frustrated on a client, or to be that client having to deal with that, because it sets a bad tone. And just like everything else, you will return to a place that you had good energy from, that you were calm, it was fun. And if it was a battle the whole time, it's no good. And I think that's universal. I don't think that has to do with anybody's particular taste in a show. I think that should be universal standard.
I agree. I agree.
Or, and I'll say this, I understand having activities at a show, and I've been to shows that I liked thoroughly that had everything from crazy ass, suspension to burlesque to whatever. But when you have all of these events outside of the space or in another room or as a complete distraction the whole time, you forget that you're not allowing that customer base to participate in the booths. People selling merch, people selling products, people selling tattoos, people selling piercings. The people that are making your show, you have them 300 booths, 400 booths trying to operate business, but you keep everybody hyper-focused on a stage elsewhere other than just the tattoo competitions. You take from everybody else that's trying to do business. So like there's a place for all of it, but you need to dedicate the majority of your time to the interaction with the fan base, walking through each booth and stopping and being interested. Not every 5 minutes, some announcer going, hey, come back over here. We have something else for you to see. It messes with the flow. Like I think that the extra activities are important because tattoo shows are fucking boring if you're not getting tattooed. They're boring. Like you need
Unless
to
you got
have
something crazy happen, right?
yeah, you need a distraction to break it up. Because if you're just watching and it's nothing but other people get tattooed, you're not going to stay. So at the evening, if you have your set times and you have that kind of that breakup, I think it's super good. But otherwise, it can get redundant. So
I feel like on conventions, you want to really have exactly how you said it, segregate into two different halves, and then have extreme amount of stuff going on the left hand. So when somebody's not doing something, they have something to do while they're waiting. Or
no, not an extreme amount. I actually think the opposite, a finite amount. I think it should be something that breaks up the monotony of the day. So say if you open at noon, maybe throw something in there around that 7, 8, 9, and then let the show finish back out. But don't like, you know, when you open it and you have theatrics from 12 to 12 during the whole time or shit outside, right? You're pulling them away. That was some of the problem with the music / tattoo shows. There'd be so much going on outside on stages and other activities and car shows and everything else the whole time that it wasn't a breakup. It was a complete distraction and pulled in a whole different crowd. But if you had that stuff for a set amount of time, like Saturday or Sunday, Sunday's a great day to have extra stuff because Sunday's a slower day anyway. Friday should be in there where you're focused on really setting appointments, really marketing yourself out, getting your shit booked up. Saturday is generally the longest day, so you can have a little bit of mix of it. And then something on Sunday to encourage people maybe to do the full package. So what do you think? You were being a little quiet on some of that impression of like the flow of shows. How do you feel about that? What are some of your annoyances, Adam?
Me?
Yeah. What do you think about what we were just talking about?
I agree. I agree in a way, you know, like I don't like a lot of music though. I do enjoy talking to meeting different artists. Like I always, when I go to shows, even when I'm judging at night, I go early because I like walking around, catching up with collectors, catching up with people, hanging out, seeing new portfolios, taking stickers,
Yeah.
trying to see if they got new shirts, new prints, something that I like.
Right. You're engaging with the booth itself. But you can see what we're saying though with the fan base that isn't like most people are not there to interact with every artist. You know what I mean? You're different than that as kind of a more of a collector and you engage with the whole industry. Some people are going there for the event of the Tattoo Expo, and it needs to be a balance between not too much distraction. Because even though yours didn't necessarily have the theatrics, it did have an environment right outside that was entertaining. So they were leaving to go enjoy the space and then come back. So it was broken up, and they had that badass festival on the one beside yours with all local foods and presentations and preparations. And
I can't believe I missed it.
Oh my God, everybody was going over there. I saw the food I was buying. It was just like they're just cooking. So it's all these Puerto Ricans cooking this homegrown shit that was unbelievable. So you did have a breakup, whether intentionally or not.
Oh, we have some shows too, like the traditional kind of music shows.
Yep.
You know,
that was awesome. Having the dance come in. So you added some, but you did it in a way that broke it up, and it wasn't constantly. You didn't have somebody, hey, everybody leave and go to room A where all this other stuff is happening, and then you know how it is, man. Those hallways clear out. Like it'll look like a show is empty because they have too much. You judge at one of the shows that used to be famous for having way too many, JP, you were a part of this, way too many competitions. And the competitions would go all damn day.
It's true.
Doing the midnight. Yeah, like 400 competitions. It'd be like best left hand tattoo of a skull upside down with a cigarette in its mouth. That was the whole contest. And then like one after the other, after the other, after the other. I've heard they've since trimmed that down by your suggestion.
No.
But Yallzee, it got crazy, and that's too much. One, if you're judging it, it sucks because you missed the whole show. And, so those are some of the things, man. And that's a balancing act. And I feel that on production because I did have a show, and it's tricky. You got to try and figure out how to make everybody as happy as possible and to keep a flow going and all of that. So I get it. It's tough.
You just changed the industry now. Now no one's going to do any music anymore.
Yeah, they are. No, they are. How you said, Yallzee, how you had like the locals there, that's one of my favorite things. You find that a lot in Latin America. they will have, you know, traditional performers come in with their theatrics and with their garb and with all of that. And it gets down. Like, it's fun. Like, when you have that kind of stuff happen, it's really cool.
Yeah.
I saw that in Costa Rica, Panama, all of them. They all brought it in, you know? So that was cool. Bolivia, all of them. So, but I think that's also a cultural thing. Like, it's a musical people, you know what I mean? Like, people down there always jam, always street parties, always shit going on. The casinos in Central America have bands the whole time, like in the wall, like playing. Like, I saw more people on the dance floor in the middle of this the casino than gambling. And it wasn't like terrible EDM shit. It was like, you know, vibrant in music where people are actually playing instruments and getting down, you know? It was cool.
Yeah.
So I like that. That's why you're such a good dancer. So he dances at the show. That's the thing. He comes out in traditional garb. And
Is that what you did?
no.
I never seen you do that. I do that at the shows. Everybody's like, monkey dance, monkey.
You dance on the pole though.
That was one time I danced on a pole, guys.
It was one day, but many times.
I go red every time that comes up on a screen. They have that on so many different outlets. I'm embarrassed because that was leaked all over the place.
I still have that video too of you, Yallzee, and Tyler Nolan doing karaoke.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That was
I
a
wanna
good
see
one.
that.
That shit was hilarious. I did see you back out of a b-boy competition against Arlo, though. He called you out. He took you down on the dance floor. There was tons of people. He did it.
Yeah.
He did his best, and you didn't. And we were so bummed because we were like, what the fuck?
I was more scared he was going to die in the dance floor.
That club was insane.
I gotta say, I saw Yallzee dance. What event? We were at the Carolina one, right? Was it North Carolina?
Did I dance there?
I
You
think
slow
you
dance? Was it slow dance, like a waltz?
No, it was a big club we went to. It was no.
That's the one you were dancing.
Yeah, that's
What-
the one I
what-
got. I made everybody dance in that place. Nobody was dancing before I started dancing.
You never get the people in this side of the business never dance. They never do
No, I got them all to dance. I did it.
it.
People doing flips and splits and crazy.
All right, so on
Yeah.
some of the next ones that we're gonna do, man, we're gonna talk a little more candidly. We're gonna review some shop content, like pros and cons of the shops, like just a general opinion. Again, all of these things are just what we experience, and anybody that's like paying attention to it might not want to actually pay attention because it's harder to see the perspective from inside. You know what I mean? Sometimes, like if you're, you know, running your shop or running your show or stuff like that, you're doing your best, and we get it. But like sometimes it'll get away from you. When I owned my shop, I had a one big incident like 7 years into owning it where I had an artist split, right? Like one of the guys broke off and did the whole, like, I'm going to open up a mile down the road bullshit, you know, and then talked a whole bunch of shit once he left. This the common stuff that happens in a shop. And it was cool though, because I was able to evaluate and I talked to all the artists, all the customers, everybody I could about what was your perspective of what's going on. And that's kind of the point of this podcast is kind of like some of the stuff will be completely far-fetched, but some of it is to give kind of that outside perspective because people don't want to hear it sometimes. They just want to believe what they're doing is the right thing and yada, yada, yada. And so we're just going to review it, man. It's just going to be an outside, inside, you know, opinion of what's worked coming from our side of it. You know what I mean? What we've experienced in it, whether it's the egos, whether it's the attitudes, whether it's the bickering, the unnecessary inflated ego and importance of something that's really just fun, should be more fun and creative and artistic, and how that kind of gets skewed. So we'll go into those a little bit more. I know, Yallzee, you still do a ton of stuff in the industry. You do a ton on social media. You've worked with everything from shows to magazines to brands to everything. You've kind of got that perspective. So we'll just chop it up on different platforms, different topics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yallzee, did you do the yoga thing for one of the conventions? Were you doing like the drunken yoga? No.
Drunken yoga?
Yeah.
You don't drink.
I know, but I was just.
You don't drink at all, or you don't drink sometimes?
I don't drink.
At all?
Do anything.
No.
How long?
Oh man, it depends. How?
Wait, no, it doesn't. How
Yeah,
long
it
you have
depends.
not drank is one date.
Are you recording?
Yes, we are. It's the recording's on.
Maybe.
Oh.
Somebody had a slip. Somebody had a toast.
No. I don't drink. I stopped drinking like over 20 something years ago, maybe, or 20 years ago, let's say.
Mhm.
But I've never been like a drinker. Like I've always drunk in places, or I was an alcoholic. So I just stopped drinking because I just didn't. I was like I didn't like how I feel. Like not feeling in control. Like not feeling like I can. Like sometimes you behaving. Sometimes I was even feeling I was saying shit I didn't want to say. So I was like, you know what? I don't like this shit.
Like I said, man, on the next go around, plenty of more stuff to talk about. We'll dedicate full stuff to the flashlights on the end of exhaust. We talk about our trip to Japan. We could talk about shop talk and some other topics that we get passionate about. So we'll reconvene and do this another time. Thanks for coming on, guys. JP, appreciate it as always. Wingman 101 over there. And Yallzee, we'll see you soon. You coming up to the north? What are you, Jay-Z and Beyonce now?
Get the diamonds out. The heart. He's got the heart.
North, man. When are you coming up to Philly? only after had a 8-year ago drink. When are you coming up north? Are you gonna hide from the winter?
I hate the winter there, man.
You gotta hide. He's gonna hide. All right, so I'll come down to Florida and visit. And again, thanks everybody, and tune in next time to the other side of the tattoo.